Well, hello, and welcome to the Coaching Business Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Kat Connect, and on every episode, I at least do my best to bring you new information, conversations, facts, figures, ideas, ways to increase your joy and prosperity when it comes to your coaching business. Today, I'm going to do a little myth busting, kind of like ghost busting, but this is about myths that are out there when it comes to how a coaching business works. This came on my radar when I was leading my certification pod for the Coactive Training Institute, one of my great joys, one of the things I love that I get to do in my work. And we were having our mid-program review check-in, and some of the students were talking about the coaching business part of coaching. That's not what we focus on in certification, but it came up because it was on their mind. And they were talking about how it's so much harder than they thought it would be. And there was a little bit of surprise. And we dug into it a little bit because we were redesigning our alliance. And that's a part of what we do is say, well, let's take a look at what your thinking is and how that matches how this program goes and how we can come together around it. What really surprised me was hearing some of the exact words and stories and thoughts that I had had 25 years ago. 25 years, a lot has changed in coaching. Oh man, so many good things have happened. But there are two myths that seem to still prevail, as if, like a family, right? Think about the myths that exist in your family. We all have them. Stories, things that have been passed down, whether consciously or in different ways, that lead us to believe something that's not true, although it usually has truth in it. That's my thinking about a myth. There's some truth in it, but the way that it's been constructed is tangled. It's not accurate. So the myth that I'm looking at, I have two that I want to look at, but the first one is that a coaching business should be easy to create. It should be magical. Clients should come to you because this is your calling. And so therefore, and I'm laughing about this, there's something that should happen, a lot of shoulds here, because it's coaching, because you have a gift. You actually are trained or are in training so that you can do something very well that's transformative for people. You know that. I know that. That's the true part. When you're trained as a coach, you have a gift, a talent. It's a training that actually brings a kind of transformation to individuals, groups, teams, whatever you're coaching, couples. That is like nothing else that I know of. It brings true transformation, true change that people are yammering on about they want in the world or they want for themselves, where coaching actually delivers that. That's the true part. And the other true part is it's a calling. I remember when I first went through my training at the Coactive Training Institute, I felt it was my calling. And 25 years later, I can tell you that it is. I've been through a lot of other trainings in 25 years too. I went through trainings, relationship coaching trainings. I went through ministerial school. I became an ordained minister. I've written 2 books. I've done a lot of things. But coaching, this way of connecting with people and helping them to access their higher truth, the greater part of themselves that wants to be expressed, their creativity, is my calling. So I get that 100%. 2 things that are true. You're trained, you can bring this amazing profession modality to people, and it might be that this is your calling if you feel it is so. Those 2 things, though, don't equal that building a prosperous coaching business will be easy. There are easy parts to it. There's another truth. There are some things that are super easy to do. And I hope if you have not found them yet, that you do. And that's what I help the people who come to me and my business mentorship coaching program, my business training program, my coaching mentorship program, my group coach training program, everybody in my community. My goal is to help you find the way, the more and more ways to make it easy. And I use easy, meaning it comes naturally to you. It's using your talents, it's using your strengths, it's accessing that which makes you happy and brings you joy. Those are the easy parts. There are so many of them I have in my business. This podcast is one of them. Writing a blog, creating a marketing strategy is actually easy for me. The coaching has become, I'm not going to say easy because it's still challenging at times because there's another human that I am connecting with, and it's with all their humanness in mind that we're conjuring up something great for them. It always calls me forth. I don't ever take it for granted or kind of feel like, oh, well, I'll just phone this one in. But easy and that I can do it and I like it and it's effective. Yes. But building a coaching business has challenges, and they are both inner challenges, ways of being and doing that are challenging. And I call it hard. What makes it hard is that not everything works, and there is going to be failure. And my definition of failure is an outcome you're seeking that you don't get. You try something out in the marketplace. Nobody likes it. Nobody responds to it. Hard in that there are new things you need to learn. And so there's a learning curve. And in that learning curve, it feels hard. Out of your comfort zone. You don't know things, and you don't know it till you do know it. That can be hard. In my estimation, from my experience, also hard is vulnerable, requiring you to tell stories about yourself that are true and vulnerable in that, oh, those might not have been things you really thought you wanted to let people know about you, or things that might have happened to you or that did happen to you. That's hard because you're facing some inner blocks and protection of your saboteur, of not wanting to reveal too much about yourself. Hard in that it takes time. It takes time, longer than most of us really want. It takes time to build a business. It takes time to keep a business going. And none of this ever ends. This part that's challenging, and I'm going to put in quotes, hard, because as you grow and as you grow in your business, there will be new challenges. So what I want for you, what makes it easier, at least it has for me, is to know the truth. The truth always sets me free, always makes everything easier. Knowing nobody's rolling out the red carpet for you when it comes to your coaching business. We love it when clients are attracted to us, and attraction does work. It's a central part of soul-driven success. My business, it's called soul-driven success because I believe when you're connected to that deeper part of yourself, it's your business will be, you and your business will be much more attractive. Hard work. This came to me the other day. I was thinking about so many things are hard work. I have a couple of times, and I'm currently redoing a couple of patios at my new house. Now, first one it was all about rocks and stones. I wanted to replace some wood chips with rocks and stones. And the whole project was hard. Finding the stones, I didn't know where to find them, finding them, picking them up, literally lifting them into my car was hard. Taking them out, arranging them. It didn't work right the first time, trying it again. I was thinking about my back patio that I'm working on now. It requires digging out plants and repotting them. And some of them have survived and some did not. So there's failure in that, and it's taken so much longer. I've lived in this house a year, and it's probably going to take another year before this patio is completely done the first pass of it. And it's been hard work, frustrating at times, and physically taxing. And there's been a price to pay when it comes to money. I've had to buy things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I was hoping I didn't have to buy that. But here's the thing, I knew it was going to be hard work. It's always harder than I think it's going to be. It always takes longer. There's always a challenge I didn't see coming. But I go into patio work and gardening. Yeah, I'm going to have to roll up my sleeves and get out some dirt. And I'm probably going to have to learn some new things and find out about the plant and go talk to the person at the plant store. And I know it's going to be hard work. And so, therefore, this is the paradox. It's so much easier and more fun because I'm expecting it to be messy. I'm expecting to not get it all right. That's an expectation I have. I know myself. This is where I know I'm going to need help. My gosh. Curtis does a lot of the work, if not most of the work, and it's still hard for me. I know I'm going to need help. All of these things that come into, I'm just using this one metaphor. And I've often, and probably more often than I would imagine, used the business that I was in with my first husband, the fruit business. Oh my God. It was so much harder. But again, nobody told us it was going to be easy. Actually, everybody told us it was going to be hard. And most people told us it was going to be impossible to create a fruit business that could support 4 families for over 2 or 3 decades and into the next generation. We were told that. I actually believed that at times. This is never going to work. Oh my gosh, year 2, year 3, this is never going to work. Well, we were doing the right thing. And then it started to work. And then, the ball got rolling. But I had an expectation that it was going to be hard. So I'm bringing this to you now, not as a negative message, not this is going to be hard in that don't do it. And there won't be joy in it. Because the one element that surprises me and that has kept me going for my 25-year anniversary of being a coach in business is coming up in August, is that it's also fun. It is the most fun project endeavor I have ever had in my life. I love it. I literally have fun and it's hard, both at the same time. And I think some of that goes together. Think about if you're a person who likes to do a puzzle or something that you like, there's going to be a challenge in it. That's part of what makes things fun. Most things that are fun, they call something from us. They bring something out of us. So that is myth number 1. I'm going to come back to it and maybe I'll just continue a little more before I go to the second myth. So one of the benefits of hard work is that your business, when you really get it going, your coaching as a career can last forever. This is what I'm saying at almost 25 years in. It continues to be a challenge, like I said. I don't have it all figured out. I keep figuring things out as I go. But man, it is really cool to have been in this business this long, have served as many people as I have, the experience I get to have every work week working within my community. It's one of my favorite things to do. The group calls that we have are magical. I don't use that word lightly, but magic happens. And I get to facilitate it. It's worth all of that work that I have done and all of the work that I still do. It's worthwhile to me. So I want you to think about that and consider that. If you were to let go of any thought you have that it's supposed to be easy because it's a calling, because somehow people have planted the seed. Now, the seed was planted about 30 years ago. I remember buying into this myth. And gosh, the guy's name is just not right in my mind right now. Oh, Leonard. His name was Leonard. Something Leonard. And he started Coach U. It was an online was way back when doing something online was brand new. And he perpetuated a myth. Again, part of it was true that I bought into, that I'm grateful for, is that coaching is you can make it mobile, you can travel. He had a picture of himself in a van, and literally Curtis and I have a van and we travel and we go to the beach and we go camping and we take trips and we're able to bring our coaching business with us. Okay, that part's true. There was another part that can be true. The overhead can be low. You don't have to have a dedicated office. You can do it on Zoom now. Before, you could do it on the phone. You don't need a lot of equipment. You need a computer, you need a phone, you need a few things. You don't have to have those things. Anything more, like there's a lot more that's added in. You need how you're gonna get the money. You can't just have somebody handing you cash every time or sending you a check. It's not as easy, and scheduling, and there's so much software that goes on into my business running. And I need help. I need a VA because of the level of business that I want, because I want a community and I'm offering courses, and there are things that get added in that do cost money. That's another piece of it. And the piece that really didn't get delivered to me at the very beginning was that I was going to need to spend time and money, and I still am spending time and money getting help with my business as far as training. I'm in a program right now, and most of this 25 years, for the most part, that's the continued education I focus on, because this is my business, is helping you with your business, is that there is a business development piece that most coaches need to go through. That was not so overt, although I felt very fortunate because there was a business development program about a year after I finished certification and went through the coactive leadership program, all fantastic. I then took business training. I got it all put together so I could succeed. So that's another myth. And this is going to lead me to a separate myth, but it's connected to what I just said. So there's a myth that coaches do not need help when it comes to learning how to build and grow a successful business. And then there's this other myth, and it was out there 25 years ago, that the only coaches that are really making money are coaches who coach coaches. And that is not true. Like 100%, that is not true. But that myth really bothered me when I first started my coaching business. My niche at the beginning was entrepreneurs. And I work with mainly small businesses. Those kind of entrepreneurs are like a woman who had a bookstore, and one had a catering business. One was a bookkeeper. A lot of different types of small businesses. It was fascinating to me. I loved it. And I was good at it. I actually had a knack for it. I understood business. I loved working with these small business owners. I remember distinctly one of my clients was a massage therapist. And in one of our early sessions, she came so challenged because she was overwhelmed. She had too much to do. She said her phone was ringing all the time. Her husband had a business and she was answering the phone for him and answering the phone for her massage business. And I remember challenging her to go for a whole week without answering the phone once. This is one of those challenges. I just challenge you to not answer the phone for a week. And there was one of those wonderful silences and that pop that you hear when you make a good challenge. And she actually accepted the challenge. She resisted, like, how's that going to work? I mean, my husband's business needs it. How am I going to get my clients booked? She accepted it, though, and it changed her life. She came back to the next session saying she had energy, she had enthusiasm. Her business was booming because she had found other ways for her clients to book their sessions and for her husband to get his calls answered. She still will need to go back to answering the phone, but now it was no longer the drain. So anyway, I loved what I did. And so the coaches I was connected with, my coach training colleagues, the people I went through the business development program with, I went through the leadership program with, I connected with a lot of coaches, and they knew that I was good in this area. And so many of them hired me to help them with their coaching business. And I was successful. That was, again, it just happens to be a thing I have a knack for. I loved it, but I really was bugged by this myth. I just didn't like it. I didn't like that. It's like I was being accused that the only reason I could succeed in my business was because I was coaching coaches. I didn't want to think that that was true, that that would be the only way to succeed. So for that and many other reasons, though, I decided to focus on being a relationship coach. I'd gone through a relationship coach training. I went through another one. I loved that too. It really fit with my personality and where I was in my life. So I built a very successful relationship coaching business. And it was successful for over a decade. I don't know exactly, maybe 12 years. So I got that myth busted. But here's what I learned, and I'm going to tie these things together for you. As a relationship coach, I needed a coach. I went through a training program. I went through more than one training program as a relationship coach. One of the training programs I went through at that time for my business was so effective. It really helped me. That was one of the reasons that business was so successful, because I got really good advice and consulting, and I learned, oh, this is this is how I do my marketing, and this is how a relationship coaching business works. So, yes, coaches need coaches. Specifically, coaches need coaches to help them with their business. But coaches need coaches for other reasons, because we need to stay true to ourselves, because being a coach is it's not easy. And emotionally, it can be very challenging. We have to face our own stuff. And coaches are the ones most likely to hire a coach because we know the benefit. So it's not that that's the only way a coach can make money, but coaches are a good prospect for a coach. And this is where a lot of damage is done in the marketplace, because coaches are marketed to unethically, I think overzealously, more than we like. It's me too. I get marketing messages 6 or 8 times a day. People are out fishing for me on LinkedIn, especially. So I understand you're going to get targeted by people who want to help you, and it's not necessarily in your best interest. So I'm going to tie this all together for you. I want you to be thinking about this. What are the myths that you've bought into that have truth in them, but in and of themselves, they are not true? And then, of course, right next to that, what is true? When you really listen to your own intuition and wisdom and what you know about how the world works, have you ever done anything worthwhile that wasn't work? I think about the most worthwhile thing I've done in my life was raising kids. Everything about raising kids I loved. Was it hard work? Any of you who are parents out there want to raise your hands? Hard. Like so hard. Challenging. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Hard. But so worth it. So satisfying. All the things that I love about a coaching business, many of them are similar to that. I feel like I had a natural talent. I loved it. It cost way more than I would have imagined. It took a lot more work. And yet the rewards were just as fulfilling as I had hoped. And you can have that with your coaching business. If you're willing to put in the work, face the challenges, get the help you need, find the joy in it. Look for the fun. Look for your values. What are the values you want to honor? What fulfills you? So you can focus on that. Have a vision that pulls you forward. Know that there's being and doing. Yes, there's hard work where you actually have to take some action. And yes, you can attract your ideal clients simply by being a great coach and having a positive feeling and the way that you speak about what you do. Both things are true. They live together in the same house. Attraction and action, both are needed. And some of these myths they have a real negative component to them. In the intention of it is to say that being a coach in business, maybe it's not for you, or you aren't up for the hard work. Like, really? I don't think so, if this is what you want to do. Or maybe especially this one about coaches only coach coaches. I just feel like that is one from people who don't understand the coaching industry. They haven't really looked at it, pulled it apart and gone, oh, this makes sense. It is actually a profession that totally makes sense. So that's your assignment from today's lesson, I'm going to say on my show today, is to look at the myths out there that might be stopping you from going full on into building and succeeding as a coach in business. Number 2, my next podcast, I'm going to go to I don't know if it's a myth, but it came up in my mind in the same way, like, oh, there are stories out there about what really works in coaching. And I'm going to talk about why I call my business soul-driven success, and it's not woo-woo, and how important it is for you to be nourished in your heart and soul, to have your body nourished, to be supported beyond your brain. You need facts. That's why I have my business training program. I have the Evolve Your Coaching Business course and book, so that I can help the people I work with go step by step to do some really practical things that work, but they only work over time if you have your heart and soul engaged. And I want you to be thinking about that and maybe excited for the next show. I'd love to hear from you. When you think about the myths, tell me what comes up for you. What myths have you bought into? What's not true? And I especially would love to hear what you found is true. It's not a myth. It's really true for you, that supports you in succeeding in your coaching business and doing the work, facing the challenges and having the fun and being willing to do what you do, because it really is a service that's like no other. That's why we do it, right? Okay. I want to hear from you. Thanks for listening. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.